The toilet brush hit the floor with a clang, and my son stood there, smirking like a tiny king declaring war. I froze, my hands still wet from washing the dishes, and stared at him as he leaned casually against the doorframe. "Mom," he said with a grin stretching from ear to ear, "I'm the boss now. You clean the toilet." For a second, I genuinely wondered if someone had swapped my sweet 13-year-old son, Daniel, with a miniature dictator overnight. But no, it was him. Same bright eyes, same messy hair, just an oversized attitude. I took a slow breath. "Excuse me?" I asked. Daniel folded his arms. "Dad said he'll be late today, so I'm in charge. And since you always make me do chores, today you will do mine." There it was. I should have known something was coming when Daniel had spent the whole week complaining about homework, house rules, and being treated like a baby. But this was new. I wiped my hands and walked toward him. "Daniel, that's not how things—" He cut me off with that same mischievous grin. "Nope, new rules. I'm the boss. You clean the toilet." Then he turned around, whistling, and walked away. I felt my jaw clench, not because I had to clean a toilet. I'd cleaned hundreds, but because of the audacity. Where did this new rebellious streak come from? His friends? Some online video declaring teenagers should take control of the household? Or had he simply woken up with more ego than brain that morning? Whatever it was, I knew one thing. I wasn't letting this pass. But I didn't shout, didn't scold, didn't lecture. I simply smiled. Because if my son wanted to play a game of who's the boss, then the next day, I would show him exactly what real leadership looks like. And trust me, my revenge would be unforgettable. The moment Daniel declared himself boss, he strutted around the house like a rooster on caffeine. He ordered the dog to sit. The dog ignored him. He told me to bring him a snack. I didn't. He even wrote a list called Daniel's New House Rules. Rule number 1, Mom listens to me. Rule number 2, no chores for me. Rule number 3, unlimited video games. Rule number 4, I can eat snacks anytime. Rule number 5, nobody is allowed to say no to me. I had to bite my lip to stop myself from laughing. Unlimited snacks? No one says no? What was next? His own national anthem? Still, I pretended to stay quiet and let him do his thing. And oh, he enjoyed it. By evening, he had created complete chaos. He left chips on the sofa, spilled juice in the living room, and tossed his socks everywhere like confetti. Our house looked like a war zone, and Daniel sat proudly in the middle of it. "Mom," he said, lounging like a king on vacation, "clean this up, please. Toilet too." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh? Still the boss?" "Yep," he declared. "Dad said he'll be home late, so you have to listen to me." That got my attention. When did Dad say that? He shrugged. "I may have kind of exaggerated, but he's late anyway, so it's the same thing." So this wasn't just rebellion. This was manipulation. I calmly began cleaning the kitchen, not because he ordered me to, but because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to sleep with the mess. Daniel watched me like a victorious general. If only he knew, the battle hadn't even begun. That night, after he went to bed, I sat alone on the sofa, planning my counterattack. I didn't want to punish him harshly, I didn't want to yell, and I didn't want to hurt him emotionally. No, what I wanted was a lesson he'd remember for years, a lesson that would make him laugh later, but think twice before treating anyone like a servant again. So I drafted my plan, and oh, it was beautiful. Tomorrow, my son would experience responsibility in a way he never had before. He wanted to be the boss? I would let him. But a real boss doesn't sit on the sofa barking orders. A real boss works harder than anyone else. And Daniel was about to learn that the fun way or the hard way. The next morning, I woke up early. Daniel slept peacefully, unaware that his world was about to flip upside down. I prepared breakfast, tidied the living room, and then, right before 8 a.m., I walked into his room. "Daniel," I whispered softly, "Boss, it's time to wake up." He blinked, confused. Then his eyes widened with excitement. "So I'm still the—" "Yes," I said sweetly, "you're the boss today." He sat up straight, chest puffed, enthusiasm overflowing. "Okay, first order—" "One moment," I interrupted. "A boss has responsibilities, so here's your schedule." I handed him a folder I made overnight. Inside were printed pages labeled "The Boss's Daily Tasks." His smile faded just a little. "What's this?" "Every boss needs a plan," I explained. "Here's yours." He flipped through the pages. Task 1, supervise the cleaning of your own room. Task 2, manage household cleanliness. Task 3, prepare breakfast for yourself and assist mom. Task 4, check the kitchen and ensure hygiene. Task 5, keep the living room organized. Daniel frowned. "Wait, these are chores." "No," I corrected him. "These are leadership tasks." He looked betrayed. "So I have to do all this?" "You're the boss," I said. "Everything is your responsibility." He stared at the papers like they were written in a foreign language. And that's how my plan began. Task 1, cleaning his room. Daniel picked up a sock with 2 fingers like it was poisoned. "Why do I have to clean my own room?" "You're in charge," I reminded. "A leader sets the example." He sighed and began cleaning, muttering the entire time. Task 2, household cleanliness. I followed behind him, noting things he missed. A boss must be thorough after all. "Daniel, the shoes are still on the floor." "Daniel, the crumbs are still there." "Daniel, check the furniture." His face slowly turned into a tomato. Task 3, breakfast duties. He almost burned the toast. He spilled milk. He used 3 spoons and 4 plates for no reason. He finally sat at the table, exhausted. "I didn't know running a house was so hard," he complained. "Oh," I said innocently, "and we're only halfway through the morning." His jaw dropped. By noon, Daniel had reorganized the living room 3 times, folded laundry wrong twice, wiped the floor with the towel, and nearly cried when he found out the trash bag had leaked. This was no longer fun for him. This was reality, and reality was the best teacher. By 3 p.m., Daniel looked like he had fought a dragon, lost, and then been dragged home by the dragon for another round. He collapsed onto the sofa. "I quit," he announced dramatically. "I don't want to be the boss anymore. I hate this job." I sat beside him, gently patting his back. "But yesterday you were so confident, so excited, so commanding." He groaned. "Yeah, because I thought being the boss meant telling people what to do." "Oh, sweetheart," I said with a soft smile. "Telling people what to do is easy. Taking responsibility is the hard part." He stared at the floor. I continued. "Do you know why I asked you to do all this? Because when you ordered me to clean the toilet yesterday, it hurt." He looked up instantly. I didn't mean to hurt you, Mom." "I know. You were trying to feel powerful. But real power doesn't come from bossing people around. It comes from kindness, responsibility, and teamwork." He nodded slowly, tears forming in his eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't know everything you do. is so much work. That's why families share responsibilities. No one should feel like a servant. He hugged me back harder. Then, after a long moment, he pulled away and said, "Mom, can I clean the toilet today?" I stared at him, surprised. "You sure?" "Yes, I want to help. And I want to say sorry properly." That was the moment I knew the lesson had worked. Not because I punished him, not because I shouted, but because he understood. Daniel walked to the bathroom, armed with gloves and determination. He cleaned the toilet, not perfectly, but sincerely. When he finished, he came to me and said, "Mom, can we make a rule? A real rule?" I smiled. "What kind of rule?" "A rule that being the boss doesn't exist in this house. We're a team. Everyone helps. Everyone respects each other." My heart melted. "That's a perfect rule," I said. From that day forward, Daniel changed. He didn't become a perfect angel, no kid ever does, but he became more thoughtful, more responsible, more aware. And whenever he started getting too full of himself, all I had to say was, "Boss day, remember?" He would immediately straighten up and say, "Nope, no boss day. Teamwork day." We laughed about it for months. And as for my revenge, it wasn't punishment. It wasn't humiliation. It wasn't shouting. It was teaching him a lesson he'd never forget. Respect is earned through kindness. Responsibility builds character. And the real boss in any family